One of the main characteristics of the foreign exchange market is the standardization of the market. Remember that the trades in FX markets are overwhelmingly OTC, that's over the counter, 85% of all the trades. So one of the standardizations is the way that the currencies are quoted against each other. So for the sake of simplification, participants in foreign exchange markets have chosen to keep the same standard way of quoting a currency pair regardless of the place, the time of dealing, or the bank. For example, whether we're dealing in Paris, New York, or Singapore, it's the euro against the dollar that will be quoted in all these places and never the opposite. The standard way of quoting is absolutely compulsory. Let's look at a standard quote. Here, we've got two currencies, the euro and the dollar, and we call that a currency pair. Here we say that the euro is the base currency against the dollar, which is the quoted currency. The base currency is always equal to 1 unit, and the quoted currency is what one base unit is equal to in the quoted currency. For example, in our euro-dollar pair, the euro is the base currency since we quote the value of 1 euro in units of dollars. We'll say that 1 euro equals $1.275, or the euro-dollar is worth 1.275. But what's the order of currencies, or the hierarchy? Well, it's a very easy one to start with. Since 1999 and the introduction of the euro is ranked as the base currency against all other currencies worldwide. So when we quote on the euro on the interbank markets, the euro against all the other currencies of the world, we'll always talk about the euro-dollar, the euro-sterling, the euro-yen, and never the opposite. The second currency in the hierarchy is the United Kingdom's currency, commonly known in the markets as sterling. So sterling is a priority since all the currencies, except the euro, are trading as the quoted currency against the sterling. We'll therefore speak of the sterling dollar, which has a special name in the market of cable. We also speak of sterling yen, sterling Swiss franc, but it's euro sterling. So we have the euro, the sterling, and then we have the two Commonwealth currencies, the Australian dollar, which is also known as the Aussie, and the New Zealand dollar, which we call the Kiwi. It might seem strange, but this is a legacy from the years when the sterling was all-powerful and these two currencies were very close to sterling by their attachment to the Commonwealth. And finally, coming fifth in the order of priority, it's the US dollar, which will be the base against all the other currencies except the four we've mentioned, the euro, sterling, the Aussie, and the Kiwi. There can still be a lot of confusion visible today about this hierarchy in relations between the sales departments, who are taking orders from their clients, and from the traders in the dealing room. Clients or customers tend to talk in numbers of euros per $1, but traders use the market standard of dollar per 1 euro. And this really can lead to confusion that's often an expensive mistake for the stakeholders. Let's look at the actual quote. Here we see that the quote has 5 digits, and it's usually the standard way to quote. The first 3 digits are called the figure, in our case 127, and the last 2 digits are called the pips. Some quotes go even further by quoting 6 digits. This is called decimization, and this extra digit is called a pipette. It's a tenth of a pip. The use of the 5th decimal place started in markets for the high-frequency traders. Now, these are traders who use platforms to transact a high number of orders at a fraction of a second. But there was a big problem of market manipulation by these high-frequency traders. The problem became so big that the market volume on one of the largest electronic trading venues, EBS for electronic brokerage systems, it fell by 50% between July 2011 and July 2012. There were several reasons for this phenomenon, but the main one was that the traditional EBS customer base was abandoning the platform for other trading sites because they were concerned about the influence of these high-frequency traders on the market. So in September 2012, EBS imposed a number of changes to the rules that made it more expensive for high-frequency traders to enter the market. And thanks to these changes, the high-frequency traders moved out of the market and let the market return to that with more traditional traders. The main adjustment was to return from a decimization system, where you could trade to the 5th decimal place, to the old-fashioned pip system of 4 decimal places, where the exchange rates ended in 0 or 5. So the market returned to pips and half pips. And for hedge funds and banks that were using high-frequency trading for arbitrage strategies, the decision of the EBS prevented them from using their insta-order strategies.